I have driving anxiety, really bad driving anxiety, and I just got a car and I'm working on my license. So let's talk about all that, shall we? Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Jackie. I hope you hit that subscribe button to be notified whenever I upload a new video. You had that right. I have driving anxiety and I'm trying to get my California driver's license at 30 years old. You may be wondering why exactly I have driving anxiety. Well, buckle in because this is going to be quite a long story time. Hopefully I can get there and explain all the details to you. But I moved away from California when I was 15 years old, and unfortunately you cannot get your license at 15. You have to wait, I think, until you're 15 and a half or 16 years old to get your permit. I only went to 9th grade here when I left, so I finished 9th grade the first year of high school, and then I moved away. And in the Philippines I did 1 year of high school over there, and then I went straight to college. I went to college, I believe I was almost 17, and I graduated at 20, and I was going to turn 21 maybe a month or two later. So I went to college really early and I didn't really have a high school experience. I didn't get to do like driver's ed. They don't have that over there in the Philippines. I know they did here, and I know the school I went to would have offered it if I stayed, but I unfortunately didn't. I moved away and I lived there for 10 years. I was there from the age of 15 to 25, and I moved back to California when I was 25. So as of when I'm filming this, I would be living here in California for 6 years now. So that is wild. I left the Philippines June 2018 and it's now June 2024. Let's dive into the driving part. So I got my Philippine license at 19. I decided to get it because my dad and mom finally bought a car over there, so finally we could have transportation. I was using public transportation and a motorcycle. So I think 6 months after my 18th birthday, my dad got me a little motorcycle, which I can insert a picture here, and I had to get a license to drive that. So we had to get it for my motorcycle as well as the car. So he got me the car for my 19th birthday and the motorcycle for like a late 18th birthday slash early Christmas, because we got it October of 2011. I finally had a reason to get my license. I was actually super excited because I really wanted my license. I wanted my independence and I wanted to drive both the car and the motorcycle. So I believe since I already knew how to drive a motorcycle, I didn't have to take the behind the wheel test. It's really lax, especially when I got my license all those years ago. So I only had to take like a 10 question test, I believe. It was really simple. Got my license right away so I could drive my motorcycle legally whenever I want. So that was where it started, and it was really simple to drive my motorcycle. It's called a motorcycle, but it's honestly like, what do you call it? A moped, or you know, the ones that you drive in Italy, like a scooter type. So it wasn't really hard to drive and I loved it. I just didn't go really far places with it. You know, I drove it around town and like the next city over to get like my nails done. So I got to use that. I never drove to my school because I went to college in a very crowded area that couldn't like handle. I don't think I could handle driving it to school. So unfortunately, I had a driver drive me my last year of college, but I still was learning how to drive. So my dad taught me how to drive. He let me get in it for the first time and he's like, okay. And I remember my first experience was he told me to put on the brake, and he did not warn me that you're supposed to not slam on the brake, like just press it down. You're supposed to ease into it. So unfortunately, I had my mom in the back and her sister, and they weren't wearing seat belts, but I threw them a little bit. They were fine. It was fine. We were in the front of our house. Like, it wasn't too bad, but I remember that and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that happened. So yeah, I've always been kind of a nervous driver, and like that's when it was starting, the anxiety, I believed, but it wasn't so bad that it was overpowering my life like it is now. So at 19, after getting my full driver's license, learning how to drive a little bit, I learned to drive fully on this back road that is twisty, turny, really like skinny, narrow roads, and there was like a cliff that if I made the wrong move, I could like drop down into this cliff. But my dad's like, exposure, you can do it, just believe in yourself. So I managed to like drive it, and after school my dad would let me drive to this point of the road where it's close to our house but it's not too close. So on our way back from school, it was just that straight road and then a little bit windy road, and I thought I could do it. I really did. Like, I learned how to drive on that kind of road, and it did scare me a bit because one time a truck almost lost its brakes and backed up, and we were gonna have to like bail out of the car. That's one of the one experiences. There's gonna be a lot of series of events that led me to have driving anxiety. So if you're like a psychiatrist or whatever, you probably can pinpoint when these like accidents were starting to happen, when my driving anxiety kicked in. Eventually, I think I learned how to drive. I didn't have to be taught anymore, like do the whole like put it in park, put it in reverse, put it in drive, the Prindle, if you know, you know, and like signaling, driving, turning. I was getting okay at it, but I still didn't drive much because I had my parents, I had a lot of cousins, a lot of aunts and uncles, or not aunts, none of them knew how to drive. My uncles knew how to drive. So I always had someone to drive me, and I didn't really have to because the roads in the Philippines aren't the greatest. Back then when I was living there, they didn't really follow the laws too much. If there was like a 3-lane road, they would turn it into a 4 or 5-lane road. You fits, you goes. That was like one of the rules. There's no lines on the road, you just go for it. And if you ask like a Filipino, they can confirm it's like that. It's traffic. It's just a lot, and that is so overstimulating to me. So it made me drive up my anxiety more when I was driving and as a passenger. Since I'm telling you all of this information, we can start with the accidents that car has endured. So we got it in 2012, and I believe the first minor thing that happened to it was a car sideswiped us on the way to class. My dad was driving. It wasn't his fault. Someone sideswiped us, got too close, went like that with their car, and unfortunately they ran off, and we had to go to the police station and file a report so we can get the insurance claimed on it. At the time, it wasn't the best over there. I hope the Philippine police and insurance system has improved, but honestly at the time it wasn't. So I had to be late or miss that class because I had to deal with the police. So that was the first one. So that is how I became claustrophobic in cars. No matter if I was driving or in the passenger seat, if something got too close to the car, they are in your bubble over there. They don't care if they're like inches away from you. Like, they don't care. So that's where my depth perception got a little bit hazy, because it got scary for me because I didn't know how close you are to the cars. I had an internship at Ballet Philippines in the cultural center of the Philippines, which was in Manila. So it was my first day. I got the job, or I was getting the job. I was on my way to the job interview to become an intern for the ballet company, and we got hit by a bus. It wasn't too dramatic. Again, they sideswiped us and we had to wait there for like a few hours, and I had to apologize to my employer. I was trying to get a job interview that day and I had to apologize and be like, I am sorry, it wasn't me, I left really early today. Like, I showed them and they were like, it's no problem, everything. And honestly, I was just an intern, I wasn't getting paid, it was just for my college credits so I can pass. And I still got the internship with Ballet Philippines, which I'm grateful for, that I could like show them proof, like, it wasn't me, I'm sorry, like, we got hit by a bus or like sideswiped. So that was the first like major accident, I believe, because it almost tore the wind or the side mirror off on the passenger side of the car. The next accident, I believe, with that car was the last day of my internship. So we had an accident my first day on the job, and then when I was going there to sign my papers so they can like say you finished your internship, you can get your college credits so you can pass the course. So I was on my way to get my papers signed and we got hit by a cement truck. And it tore the side of the car, the same side again. And I was sitting in the passenger seat. Thank goodness I wasn't driving. I had a good family friend who always drove for us. He drove, and at that point I was just sick of getting into accidents, and like, it was never our fault. All these accidents, I'm telling you, never our fault. It was the other driver's fault. We were always safe. We were always the ones who like were in the right, we could fight it and stuff. So this cement truck, I was not in the mood. I just wanted to get my paperwork done at the cultural center. And that cement truck that was loaded with cement just scratches the side of the car, and you could see it was just bent out of shape, and I think the side mirror did get affected finally, so it would have to be replaced too. And I'm on that side, so you can see how nervous. So it isn't just driving anxiety, it became passenger anxiety. It became vehicle anxiety, that I did not want to be in a car anymore. Any vehicle, I did not want to be in, because I kept having this, and I still have the claustrophobia. If a semi-truck or a truck or anything gets too close to me when I'm driving or when I'm the passenger, it freaks me out and I start panicking and having a panic attack, and it is not fun. That's the only time I will get panic attacks. Thankfully, like in normal day-to-day life, I'm good. But when people get close to me in cars, it goes up and I don't know how to stop it. I'll start hyperventilating. I need to calm myself down. I need to like do something and get out of the car, and sometimes I can't because we're moving or we're stuck or whatever. And that is one of the reasons why I developed such bad anxiety in vehicles. So I shouldn't say I have just driving anxiety, I have vehicle anxiety as well. I guess I should finish the cement truck story. Don't worry, we went to the police. He wanted to drop off the cement to the site first, but I refused to, and I told the police that, and the police thankfully said I was correct. So we got that. We spent the whole afternoon. I almost missed the director of the company that needed to sign my papers, because we took hours, because this guy just wanted to fight and be like, no, it's not my fault, it's not my fault. But we had several witnesses say he'd got over when he wasn't supposed to get over. So thankfully, you know, we got that fixed. We got the car done and stuff. I don't know how many times that car went to the dealer to get fixed, because it had so many like body paint that needed to get like redone, and like the scratches, and that car has been through a lot. The big one that probably gave me the biggest scare of my life was when me and my dad were driving home from my 22nd birthday celebration. My dad wanted to treat me. He and I went to the mall and we ate dinner. My mom was still around back then. I think it was just a father-daughter date kind of day. and stuff. And my mom was like, I think my dad got me out of the house because they were trying to surprise me at home with a little surprise party. I think that's what it was. That's why my mom didn't go. So me and my dad, we went off. We went to the mall. He bought me a balloon. We had like pizza, I believe, and it was a good 22nd birthday. I remember blasting Taylor Swift's 22. No, it wasn't Taylor version at the time, but I remember blasting it on our car radio and just having the grand old time. And unfortunately, we were driving home really late, and you know that road that I was telling you that I learned to drive on? Well, it is really tiny and really narrow, and I guess my dad didn't judge the distance on a bridge too good, because we were speeding down it in the dark and I was just jamming away to like 22, and he hits a bridge. He hits the curb of the bridge and we bounce, and we almost bounce off the bridge and crash into another car before jumping off the bridge. And that scared me to death. I thought on my 22nd birthday, that was it. I've lived 22 years. My headstone would say April 19, 93 to April 22, April 19, I was 22. When did I turn 22? 2015. It was 2015. So I thought that's what it was going to say, because life flashed before my eyes. I honestly thought we were gonna go off that bridge and crash the car good, because once it goes down over that bridge, we fall into like a ravine or whatever, and the car would have just dove. But my dad's been driving like at that point probably 60 years, over 60 years, something like that. So he managed to not. And the person driving this way, because we went, how do I describe it? You know how they drive this way, we drive this way. We hit it, we bounce, and we almost hit the car here, but thankfully they put on the brakes, and thankfully it didn't jump over the ravine. Because you can tell, like, this over here was where we're supposed to be. We hit the guardrail or whatever, the curb, and it bounced us into the other lane and almost bounced us off the bridge. But my dad thankfully knew what he was doing, and we just stopped, and we wrecked the car good. We wrecked the suspension, and instead of the car driving like this, right, the thing was bent like that. Both of the front tires are like that. And that logical point right there, we should call everyone and say, hey, we got into an accident, tow us home. My dad drove that car home another 20-25 minutes at like 5 miles an hour. So we got back an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours after that, because we were going so slow, because we could not, you know. And I don't know if tow trucks really exist in the Philippines. I don't know what we were thinking, but that scared me. So every time I'm on a dark road that is a windy dark road, it reminds me of that moment, and where me and my dad almost lost our lives. Because if he didn't control the car, we could have bounced off that bridge, dove in, and died, honestly. So that made my driving and vehicle anxiety so bad. And I'm grateful that I'm alive. My dad's alive. My mom was pissed when we got home, because you could hear when we were pulling up, like, eek, eek, ah, ah. The car just was so bad, and since it was our fault, we had to pay for it. So we had to get the car realigned and the brakes fixed and the suspension or whatever. We had to get a lot of stuff fixed on that car, but it's still kicking, it's still running. My cousin last year when I came, he fixed up all the scratches, because it just, yeah, everyone was telling us that it's bad luck, we should sell that car, that it's put us through misery, but we're still hanging on. We still have that car. So since moving out here to Ventura, I needed to get my license. So I think in April of 2022, when my Philippine driver's license expired, I can actually drive with my Philippine driver's license here. It is legal. It expired though, so I tried to get my California driver's license, and I failed the first written test, but I passed the second. But I didn't know those things expire. Like, they didn't explain it to me. So of April of 2023, I decided to take my behind the wheel test, and I borrowed my friend's car, who is actually my next door neighbor. She let me borrow the car a week before I had to fly to the Philippines, and I never used her car before. Different cars have different like things, so I just went in blind essentially to my behind the wheel test, and I failed. I could have went back the second day, but it wasn't a guarantee. He said that I would pass because I really needed some work with driving here in the US. Because I only driven in the US a handful of times. I drove a small moving truck, a big moving truck, and a little sedan car that we rented for like a week. So the small moving truck, I only drove it around town, and then I had my dad drive the freeways because I was scared. The big boy moving truck, honestly, I just did the, you know, like moving it from like the different parking lots for my dad. I didn't really want to drive a 27-foot truck. So I tried it, but I was not going to be responsible for that. And my dad's an expert driver, so I let him do it. And then the rental car that we rented in 2019, I got to drive that a little bit. And I really had fun when I got to drive that one. I got to drive to like my old school, and there's a whole vlog about that, but not me driving. I might have mentioned it, and there's probably a clip when I drove the moving truck. I know I vlogged that. So I'll link those two videos of me, of that road trip and me driving, down below. But that was super fun, and I could do it. Like, when I drove those few times, I was pretty good. So when I was trying to get my behind the wheel test, I have never used that friend's car. I didn't know how it functioned, and I drive like a Filipino, so I don't stay in lanes, and I got failed for that. And I hate to admit this, but I was driving 25 in a 45, and I was driving 45 in a 25, so I reversed the speeds. So in the residential, I was going too fast, and on the like main roads, I was going too slow. So there was a little like nitpicky things, but those were my 3 major mistakes with my first driving attempt. But I'm kind of glad that I did it, because now I know what to practice, know what to improve on. I'm still trying to improve myself with driving, but no one is in my head to understand how scared I am of driving sometimes because of my past experiences. I never used to have this, but with all the things that I mentioned, I think you can tell why I'm so anxious and so nervous. And yeah, so I failed last April of 2023, let it expire. I did not want to attempt to get my permit again because I just was so discouraged, and I did not want to do it. So all of 2023, every month I was like, I'm gonna get my permit, I'm gonna get my permit. Until it hit January of 2024, and I'm like, you know what, I need to do it this year. I'm making it a goal. That's my New Year's resolution. Do it, Jacqueline. So March, on a random day in March, I decided to go onto my laptop and just go for it and take my written test. And I failed the first time, remember? And then I passed the second time. So I'm like, just try it again. You have 3 attempts. Let's go. So it told me, do you want to take the test now? I just studied for like 5 minutes, and I did it. I did it, I think, 10 minutes before 4 o'clock, before the cutoff. And I was like, you can do it, Jacqueline. My heart was beating. I was so nervous, but I took my written test on my laptop here at home, and I passed in one go. It emailed me congratulations, and I started jumping around my living room in my apartment, so excited because I failed it the first time. Like, I failed it the first time, and this time, my second go around, I passed it the first time. I just decided one day a random day. There was no significance for this day. I just took it and I passed. And March 13th, 2024, I got my permit, and I was super excited and really like, I really wanted to like get this done. And I couldn't believe I could pass. I couldn't believe that like let you do it at home. Like, cause I took the other two tests at the DMV, and just the environment and the anxiety of having someone watching you and all that. But just being on your couch at home in your environment, they still were watching you, and I had nothing on me. Like, they had the webcam on you and everything. So there was no cheating or anything because they're watching you on the webcam. And I liked it so much better. Like, I was having I was panicking a little bit inside. Like, whenever I take a test, that happens to me. But like, being at home and being in my own space really helped me. Maybe that's why I passed in the first try. But I went, I think 2 days later, went to get my permit printed, did my makeup, did all that, to get my picture taken, because the last picture was probably gone and you have to retake it again. So got my permit 2 days later, and a week later my stepdad calls me and says, hey, I have this car lying around, and if you want to have it, just come pick it up and you can learn to drive it and get your license with it and then borrow it for the year. And I was like, okay. Unfortunately, he couldn't drive it down to me because he was gonna have open heart surgery a week later. Just great timing. He wanted to get rid of the car and get it off of his property, so before he went into the operation. And I'm like, okay, I'll take it off your hands, but I can't drive yet. I can't go up there. And I tried to get friends to help me. No one at the time could help me. So April, I thought, okay, before my birthday, I'm gonna go down there. And I still did not have the confidence to drive or take someone with me. And then after that, I finally got my mom's best friend. She came in clutch, and she went with me with her friend, and we took a train up to Hanford. I filmed the whole vlog, but it was like a TikTok day in my life, so I filmed it for that. So if I can insert the footage now, I will. If I can turn it into like a vlog because it's like landscape. So if I can, I'll insert the clips now. Then afterwards, I got the car. We drove it back down after a few struggles. It is a 2010 Chevy Aveo. It isn't the greatest car, but when you're getting a free car, you get a free car. It was working. It can drive from point A to point B. It's still in running condition. It's pretty good. Like, I wanted it to practice with. It's just a first car. It's nothing, like, it's not going to last me years, you know. It probably would. I don't know how cars work, but I was so excited to have it, and I took pictures with it, and I'll probably do more photo shoots. And since getting the car in May, it's June now, I've been driving maybe 2-3 times a week with my friend again who lives next door. She's been helping me out. I have a lot of things to fix with my driving. Like, staying in the lane is like the #1 thing I have to fix with myself. I'm trying to incentivize myself. My biggest one is if I do get my license and I have a goal date, which I don't want to share right now, but I probably will share in the next upcoming clips or whatever I film. I want to go to Barnes & Noble and I just want to take my MacBook, have my favorite drink at the cafe, pick out that book, and just have a Barnes & Noble book date with myself. And instead of being worried that I'm taking like my iPad and like all these huge devices with me, like my MacBook, my iPad, like my vlogging camera on the public transportation, I know it's maybe a little safe, but I just don't want to take it, you know, and risk it. I know anything can happen, la da 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 da, but like I want to just put it in a cute tote bag, put it in my passenger seat, drive to Barnes & Noble, have a fun book date, and drive home and not worry about, oh, I need to leave now because the bus is gonna leave and then I won't be able to get home, you know? I want to just be able to get in my car, put my tote bag on the passenger seat with my MacBook and my iPad and my vlogging camera, drive myself there, have a fun day, and just drive myself home. That is like the one goal that I have right now, and that is what is incentivizing me, that you can do it. Every time I've gotten into the car, I think about that goal, and hopefully I'm going to make it, and you will see that vlog one of these days. Every time I get into the car, I feel so anxious, and I'm like, I can't do this, I can't. But then I buck up and I'm like, you can do this, go. You can believe in yourself, you can do it, drive. So every time I get into the car, the anxiety has been going down. Like everyone says exposure therapy. I've been exposing myself, been driving myself around with my friend. I haven't been driving by myself, but I've been slowly but surely getting there. And with all these experience, I don't know, you're not in my head, or maybe you relate to me, but it's not fun having driving anxiety. It isn't. Like, you just want to go out there and like not feel worried. I want to know what it's like not to feel worried when you're driving. And maybe one day I will learn and it will be a piece of cake, but right now it isn't. So this video is just going to be documenting my journey of getting my license at 30, getting rid of my driving anxiety, or lessening it, I guess. But I just wanted to document it, and we're here. Hopefully the end of this video will be an update where I got my license, that I'm driving around, that it isn't as scary as it once was. So follow along and see. If this comes out, I hope it has a happy ending because my username is fashionxfairytale. I hope I have the fairy tale ending, that everything will turn out okay and I will get my license and be driving around my local area. And yeah, I'm really excited to be documenting this journey and sharing it with you. Excuse me, birds. I'm coming. Get out of the way. Mine on my upper thigh, only in my mind. It's a new soundtrack. I can dance to this beat. I've never been in a car wash before. This is my first time, and it, oh my goodness. officially have my license. So I drove out of the DMV. I'm at a mall park, don't worry. But I passed, and you've been watching my journey trying to get my license. I suffered from driving anxiety, and I still have it, even though I've been practicing and doing all kinds of stuff. But I did it. I have my driver's license. I have my California driver's license. So now I am going to drive home maybe, or go out somewhere else. I'm currently at the mall that's near the DMV where I got my driving test done, and I don't know what else. I want to go out. I have the whole weekend. It is Thursday, June 20th. My mom's birthday was yesterday, and sadly she passed 4 years ago on July 4th, so she's not here to celebrate with me. But I did it. June 19th is her birthday, but I think it was a holiday yesterday, so I had no choice but to do it today. So I got my license on June 20th, 2024 in honor of my mom. I'm wearing her earrings. I have her rosary in my bag, and I prayed to her before I left, saying wish me luck. I get to call my dad now and tell him the good news. But yeah, I went to the mall with my godmother. She was my mom's best friend, and like, she's taking care of me now. She took me to get my driver's license, and I'm so excited. I still have driving anxiety, don't get me wrong. Like, it's still nerve-wracking to drive. I'm parked like away from a lot of the cars. Like, see, you can see that there's not very many people around here because I'm still scared to park near people. But I just wanted to document it. I have my aircon on. I'm going to listen to Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo because I got my driver's license. Literally, it's queued up right there. You can see it on my phone. It's queued up, and I am ready to listen to that when I drive home. So yeah, it was a pretty smooth experience. There was like a few cars ahead of me, and the car ahead of me, unfortunately, she didn't pass. So that made me worried, because that guy was going to be my instructor to like give me the test. And I'm like, if she doesn't pass, does that mean he's like a really hard person to pass? But I think she's just like freshly 16, and he had a lot of notes. He sat with her for a long time, so I was sitting like over here watching them. I'm like, oh no, like am I gonna pass? But I did. I had some notes. I passed. You're supposed to have no more than 15 mistakes. I only had 6. I did have trouble there backing up and like staying in a straight line, but I passed. And all the critiques that I did from the first time when I took it in April of 2023, I am a lot better driver now than I was back then. So I am going to head off now. I'm not going to record my journey home. Maybe like at the end when I'm in my apartment complex, when it's like easier to like drive around and I can go slow, because I still want to pay attention to driving. So yeah, I'm not gonna film my way home, but just so you know, I have my driving playlist. The first song is Driver's License. The second song is Connor Maynard and Jack Maynard's First Car. And then Keep Driving, Style. Like, I have a lot of driving songs on there. Beep Beep by Little Mix. Just because it has beep beep in it, that's why I have it on that playlist. I'll share it. I link my Spotify, but I made my own like driving playlist, and I've been listening to it while I drive. So that is it. That is an update. It is really hot today, and I'm in a long sleeve, sat in the sun. So I'm going to listen to my music, drive home safely, and that's an update. From the beginning of the video until now, I got my driver's license. So good for me. Yay. No, I still have the anxiety, but it's lessened now, and I passed. You passed. I did it! I did it! You're going 40. You're okay. Just follow the road. You can do it. You're driving by yourself! Hello, update to my driving vlog. I'm actually driving around my old childhood neighborhood where I grew up. Right there is the park that I always went to, that I always rode my bike to, and now I can drive to it. It doesn't seem real to me. I drove by my house and like my old house, and it's so surreal. Like, I remember just biking around this neighborhood, and now I can drive around it. I made sure to fully stop because my mom got her first ticket in this neighborhood where she did a California stop or a rolling stop, and I've been making sure to stop, not rolling stop like she did, but stop. And like, just seeing all of this and listening to my favorite songs and just driving around my neighborhood, it's healing my like driving anxiety a little bit because I'm familiar with this area and it's just so nice. I live really near it from my apartment complex that I live now. I live really close to my childhood neighborhood, so I thought I would add this in to my like driving anxiety vlog. Let's go through the drive-thru for the first time. Follow that car, Jacqueline. Oh, it's so, how do I do this? Can I do it? Can I do it? Can I do it? Oh goodness, oh goodness. I've never been through a drive-thru. Okay, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. Yes, oh, here we go. Okay.
I went to McDonald's babies in the mobile app today.
Hi, could I get the $5 McDouble meal?
Sure. And anything else?
That's it.
It'd be $6.42.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I have to get my wallet. This is fun. Okay, how do I pay attention? How do I've never driven through a drive-thru. This is my first time. I'm very excited. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now, I'm pretty good at parking places. Yay! I did it! I got my license in the mail, yay! This is really bad angle, but I'm not gonna move the car. I came in here because I just wanted to film my reaction. I got my actual physical license. I'm super excited about that. I'm gonna open it with my dad when he calls me in an hour, but I just wanted to document this moment because I've been working so hard for this moment. I took my behind the wheel driving test a day after my mom's birthday, and that was really special to me, and it's like full circle that I got my license in the mail a day after her death anniversary. So yeah, it's just full circle, and you got my reaction to opening the mailbox. So I'm gonna head out of this car because I just came in here to film this clip, but I have it in my hands and it's not a very good angle, but yay, I got my license. I just got a letter.
Oh, you got it already? You got your license?
Yeah. Oh, how cute. Oh, congratulations. Here is your California driver's license identification card. Yay. So I got,
same.
Yeah, so I got my license a day after her birthday, and then I got it in the mail a day after.
Yeah.
Ain't that fun? Yay.
Really?
It
That's
looks
nice.
so nice. So fun. I'm happy I got my license. Yay. My ID picture now matches the color of my wallet because I wore hot pink in the picture. I can do this. You can do this, Jacqueline. You have to speed, Jacqueline. You have to speed. You can do it. Go! You're doing it! Okay, you're going 65. You're good. You're good. I have to get off the freeway here. Not because I have to, but because it's my exit. I just went one exit. And it's traffic. Oh, fun. You did it, Jeff. I did it. It was my first time on the freeway by myself. I've been on the freeway before with like my uncle, my dad, but I've never done it by myself. I only went one exit. It's really easy to just hop on the freeway and then hop off. So I haven't drove long distance on the freeway by myself. I was looking forward to it, but it was so traffic. So ever since I got my license, or before I got it, I said that I wanted to have a Barnes and Noble date with myself at the cafe, bring my new MacBook with me and all that, and I finally got to achieve it. I got to drive here. I drove here on the freeway, so it only took me like 8 minutes to get to my local Barnes and Noble, and it's just like right by the freeway right here. So I got off, came in here, and yeah, so I'm so excited that I got another thing to check off on my like driving bucket list. I have a few more items and a few more things to add to this driving vlog, but there we go. I just want to document this. I am at a bookstore in my town over from where I live, and I just parallel parked for like the first time with a crowded area. Like, it was very tight, very like really nerve-wracking. I did check it 2 or 3 times to make sure I am in, but I'm in, I'm straight, it's good on both sides. I'll have to show you when I get out, but I did it. So if I can do it, you can do it. That was a little stressful there. I am sweating. I turned the aircon off because I have to with this car when I turn it off, so I'm gonna turn it off now, but I did it. My first crowded parallel parking experience. No one yelled at me, no one laughed at me. I did it. And I'm just looking forward to driving around in the summer with this song blasting. I had some help, then I can like this kind of mess all by myself.
I get slipped away into a moment in time, 'cause it was never mine.
Pretend it's love, no one else was ever behind me. Let me kiss you. It's frozen. I can never see you again, but I'm here forever. I'm here forever. Understand me. Heartbreak is one thing, my ego's another. I'm working late, 'cause I'm a singer. Hello, well, it's update time, I guess, and to finish off this driving anxiety vlog, it actually has been 6 months since I applied for my learner's permit and got it. So March 13th, that was the day that I randomly decided, you know what, it's time for me to get my learner's permit. It has been 5 months since I picked up the car in Hanford from my stepdad. It has been 4 months since I actually was religiously driving all the time, and it's been 3 months today actually that I went to do my behind the wheel test and passed to get my California's driver's license. It is so surreal getting to say that. Of course, I'm not as excited as I was in the video. I'm still excited and happy about it, but like, I'm so glad that I documented that day. Like, my face and like my anxiety being in that line, like telling myself I can do it, to then going to lunch with my godmother and like passing my test and vlogging about it, and just, it's been so nice that I started this vlog and have this all documented. It was the best decision. The first part of this video I just edited last night, And when I filmed that initially, I filmed it because I was having such a bad day. I had a bad driving day. I was very anxious. I was going through personal stuff, and I usually do not film those moments. I do not film like me having a breakdown. I do not like doing that. I do have a few clips of me crying online, but I'm usually a happy-go-lucky person. I like sharing my positively. I like sharing my positivity and putting joy out into the world. So I hardly do that, but I wanted to document like how I was feeling. You know, I was so overcome that day that I'm like, this is never gonna get better, you know? I don't think I'll ever get over this driving anxiety. So I filmed that part of the video, and I was hoping by the end of it that there would be a light at the end of the tunnel, that there will be a happily ever after where I would not have driving anxiety, that I would have my license, that I would have the freedom and independence of doing whatever I wanted. And it turns out that did happen. Okay, one thing didn't happen. I'm still not over my driving anxiety. It was not magically cured. It didn't go away or anything like that. It's still there. Don't get me wrong. Like, you're watching this video and be like, oh, she can overcome it. Maybe so can I. I mean, I hope the tips that I'm going to give you will help you out, but it didn't really cure my driving anxiety. It has lessened it. It has made it a little bit more bearable for me to live with, but it didn't go away, sadly. So there is a little bit of positivity in there, but also it's still nerve-wracking and I still have driving anxiety, but like for percentage-wise, it's not 100% there anymore. I'm thinking it's about 70%. I don't know percentages in math, but that's what I feel in my head, if that makes sense. So I thought I would give some tips of what helped me. I am no way a professional. This is just what helped for me and what I did to lessen my driving anxiety. And the first thing is having a good support system. My friends and family really came through for me. My godmother, who took me to get my driving test, to my friend and neighbor Kelly, who was so patient and sat with me 2 to 3 times a week to just go out and about and like get me exposed to like the driving elements, and to my other friend Shane, who we went on a day out together. She was so patient as well. She gave me so many good tips and helped me so much, and I just had a really good thing. My dad and stepdad for helping out there and just being so positive and motivating really helped me. Number 2, I would say, is exposure therapy really helped me. So the day after I got the car, I had it parked in my garage, the apartment complex where I live. We have our own like little garage spaces. So I just sat there, listen to like my favorite songs. My car is old, so it has a CD player, so I got to listen to my 2 Taylor Swift CDs, 1989 and the Tortured Poets Department. Honestly, they're my favorite albums now because of it. So getting to listen to those on repeat, they were my soundtrack to learning how to drive and just listening to music driving. So I think that's a third one. Yes, it can be distracting, but also comforting too, that you're hearing your favorite things, you're in a normal environment, you don't think necessarily, oh, I'm in a car, I'm driving, oh no, you know, it put my mind at ease. So you saw my like fun weekly vlogs ever since I got my car and started driving. I have been so excited to share more of my life with you and doing all kinds of fun things. So in those weekly vlogs or week in my life vlogs, I'll link a playlist down below in the description if you want to catch up with them. Ever since I started driving, I have documented like my weeks and my months and my days, and it's just so fun. So in those vlogs, you see me do my carpool karaoke's with myself. I did a One Direction one. Just love listening to One Direction while driving down the road. I did like an album reaction to Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter. That is fun. And then listening to all the Taylor Swift albums, you know, listening to August and Cardigan while wearing my Folklore cardigan was so fun. So that is all I wanted to do, was finally just be independent driving, listening to my favorite songs. Forget About Us by Perry Edwards. You know, that was one of my goals. I mentioned it in my birthday vlog and I managed to do it. So a lot of the goals that I said in the first part of the video were accomplished, and I feel so proud to say that. Even after this video, I am going to take myself on a Barnes & Noble date. I go weekly now for doing my assignments, and it's just so fun to just do book browsing, hang out at the cafe with my MacBook, and finish my weekly assignments for my college classes, which also, it is so fun that I can now drive myself to my college classes, because it's my first time driving myself to like a college class, or to school actually, because I never got to do that. You saw a lot of my first in this video. I managed to document them, and I'm so happy that I did. My first time putting gas, my first time in a car wash, my first time in a drive-thru, my first time going on the freeway. So many firsts, so many fun stuff. Of course, you've probably seen it if you've watched my weekly vlogs, so that has been fun to document there, but also to put in this video. So I'm really grateful to have documented this experience and sharing like my tips and how I've overcome things. Those are just what helped me. It not necessarily might help you, or it might help you, it might get you out there. Like honestly, I was thinking maybe I should go to a professional, even though I already knew how to drive. I just needed to practice and get out there and stuff like that. But if hiring a professional would help for you, totally do that. I am so grateful, as I said, for my support system. My friends and family came through for me, and like surrounding myself with good people has really like helped with my mental health and getting over driving anxiety. Like I said, I still have driving anxiety. Don't get me wrong, like it's still there, and I don't want to be here and be like, oh, everything is fun and rainbows and fun now, you know? It isn't. Like, it's still there. It will always be there. Maybe in a year, maybe in 2 years, it will lessen even more. But that has been my experience with driving, with trying to drive here in California to the Philippines has been so much different, and like the different laws and all that. I was just explaining to you about how willy-nilly it is over there, and here it's more structured and of course safer and all that. But it's just been a journey, and I need to wrap up this video because it's probably like an hour long now by adding this end portion in. I tried to document as much as I could, you know, from the beginning until now. Like, I have clips of me just being comfortable in the car now. I didn't think that would happen. I wish I had more clips from the beginning besides me driving in my apartment complex parking lot over and over again, listening to my favorite songs, but I don't really have many clips. I just wanted to share everything that I can. I had some like notes in my phone to help me, so I'm hoping when I edit all this together, everything made sense and I gave enough tips and I put everything that I wanted to in this driving vlog. But I feel like I'll do an update maybe in a few months or so, or maybe this time next year. That is it. I do hope you enjoyed today's video and learned something from it. So I am going to head off now. I'm actually gonna go out driving. So yes, I'm going to wrap up this video. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye everyone.